Hello everyone, Adrian here. Yes, I know it's been a while, but I kind of got into that with the last video that I made, but I'm here now with regular content. So the day before filming this video, I asked you guys on Twitter and on my Instagram story what you wanted to see today. A Gothic literature review, a band review, or an absinthe review, and the majority asked to see a Gothic literature review. Totally fair, I haven't done one in a while, and I was kind of in the mood for it myself. Don't worry, I have plenty of band reviews to do as well. I know I'm super behind, especially for my review of Black Angel's new album, but we've had a lot of stuff happening recently and it's been a bit hard to deal with. Not gonna really get into it because I just want to have some fun here today. To anyone who is interested in Gothic literature, it's no secret that women of the Victorian era made a significant contribution to the genre, and this sometimes gets overlooked or overshadowed by the men who have contributed to the genre as well, sometimes unfairly. But today I have a real treat for you. I have an anthology of Victorian ghost stories that were written by women, and let me tell you, it is a wonderful collection. I present to you Avenging Angels, Ghost Stories by Victorian Women. Pretty exciting! While yes, I know I'm going to get some comments that say, Gothic literature isn't just ghost stories, duh. Of course, everyone knows that. But since these stories do fall within the Gothic genre, I definitely wanted to give them to you guys as a recommendation because it's a really good collection for people who are just getting into the genre that aren't quite ready for delving into the significant, more intensive, full-length novels and stories out there. The language in these stories is also quite palatable and not impenetrable, even for the average reader. So let me talk a little bit about each story. The first story is The 4:15 Express by Amelia B. Edwards. William Langford has a chance encounter with a recognizable solicitor related to his dear friends on the 4:15 Express. As his strange traveling companion steps off the train, he drops his cigar case. When Mr. Langford tries to catch up to the man to return his case, he disappears among the crowd. When Mr. Langford reaches his destination and tells his host the tale, his perception of occurrences on the train kind of come into question, claiming he couldn't have possibly seen whom he thought he saw. Did he dream it, or is he being gaslit by his host? Has he uncovered some dastardly secret in the process? I guess you'll find out. Next is Since I Died by Elizabeth Stewart Phelps. A ghost recounts their experience of crossing from this life to the next and wonders if their love can see or hear them beyond death. For a moment, they seem to think so, but on this strange, ethereal journey to the great beyond, they learn the frustrating truth. The Shadow in the Corner by Mary Elizabeth Braddon is next. The lord of the house has difficulty hiring a maid due to the ominous and widespread belief in the local area that his manor is haunted. He goes to great lengths to hire someone, quite literally, finding a young woman who wasn't local and hadn't heard the rumors. Soon after she accepts the position and moves in, even being unaware of the rumors of the house, she feels the oppressive atmosphere of the house's dark history and sees the shadow of a body hanging in the corner of her room in the darkest hour of dawn. When she reports this to the lord of the house, she's met with a dismissive, almost gaslighting attitude. Will this lead to another tragedy? We'll find out. Ghost at the Rath by Rosa Mulholland. An ancient secret of a femme fatale who settles on murder and kidnapping to keep her inheritance is revealed through a series of apparitions witnessed by an unsuspecting guest at an old manor. Pretty intense stuff, man. From the Dead by Edith Nesbit is next. After receiving a letter from his lover saying that she is determined to marry someone else, a distraught man turns to his former lover's sister for companionship and comfort. Months after they marry, his new wife confesses that it was she who had forged the letter that caused her husband to leave his former lover. They become bitterly estranged over this conflict, and she leaves him. Later on, when he hears of her death, do his feelings change, or does he hate her still? Next is In the Seance Room by Lettice Galbraith. This was definitely my favorite story in this anthology, and you'll see why. A fiend of a doctor arranges to have his mistress killed to make way to wed a very wealthy woman so he may indulge in his amusements as a psychical researcher. Unbelievably, the dead girl seems to visit him and his wife from beyond the grave during a seance, which in turn reveals the truth about his crime. The House Which Was Rent-Free by G.M. Robbins is next. A widowed mother accepts a very generous offer of a house that is rent-free by a former acquaintance. Even after warnings of ghosts, she decides to accept nevertheless. After unsettling dreams of a neglected child, the next day she explores the house to see an apparition of a malnourished, emaciated, bruised little boy crying. Was it just a dream, or is something sinister afoot? The Lost Ghost by Mary E. Wilkins. The ghost of a young child wanders in search of its mother, who is finally noticed and cared for, not in life, unfortunately, but in death. Next is The Striding Place by Gertrude Atheron. A gentleman attends the funeral of an old college friend and ponders on the theory that the soul and the body are separate entities, only to discover the grim reality of the afterlife and how it permeates the mortal world. The Prayer by Violet Hunt finishes this collection. A desperately grieving widow hopes and prays that her beloved husband will return to her from the dead. Little does she know what awaits her with this very morbid wish. Like I said, my favorite story in this anthology was In the Seance Room by Lettice Galbraith. It was so suspenseful, it was an emotional roller coaster, you really wanted this bastard to bite it, and the ending was incredibly satisfying, but I promise I won't spoil it for you. I also really liked the 4:15 Express by Amelia B. Edwards, also for it being suspenseful and mysterious. From the Dead was also kind of an emotional roller coaster and incredibly sad. Since I Died was so beautifully written and took the reader on an incredible sensory and emotional journey. I would say my least story in this collection was The Striding Place, because it was just so hard to stay focused and keep track of everything happening in the story and the dialogue and where everything was going, because it had a severe case of please get to the part where something happens. It was bad. Like I said, I really didn't enjoy that story, but most of the other stories I really enjoyed, especially the previous ones that I mentioned. As an additional treat to my patrons, Kenny and I are actually working on narrations of at least some of these stories. I have a completed narration of Since I Died on my Patreon for you to check out if you are interested. You just have to be one of my patrons in order to see it. When we're done narrating all of the stories, if we do end up doing all of them, or whichever ones we do decide to do, we will have you vote on one to make public for everyone to hear. So guys, thank you so much for watching and listening, and I really hope that you check out this book. It is absolutely fascinating, really good collection, and a really good anthology for people trying to get into Gothic literature. It's a win. Trust me guys, it's a win. And of course, as always, I will be leaving links to buy this book in the description below so that you guys can check it out, read it, all that fun stuff. Now, with September being in its beginning, tomorrow, as of me filming this, my lord, it is going to be busy because Kenny and I are getting married October 2nd, so we're going to be doing a lot of wedding plans, lots of different things in preparation for the wedding, so it's going to be a little busy, and I thank you guys in advance for your patience and your understanding during this time, because it's going to be a little nuts. Because, let's be real, planning a wedding is a little nuts. Yeah, Kenny and I actually just went down to the courthouse today to apply for our marriage license, and we also went down to the bank to make some other arrangements to be ready when we are married and all that fun stuff. Anyway, adulting. I know, so fun. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you so much to my patrons for your support every single month. And to everyone, you're amazing. I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.